Welcome! Today I'm going to teach you JavaScript's switch statement, which allows you to control which code blocks get executed in the code. It also allows you to replace multiple if-else statements. Let's get into some examples. As you can see here on the screen, we have a bunch of if-else statements, and our variable time is set to 12. So if we were to refresh this in a browser, we would get lunchtime. However, it's tedious to write all these if-else statements, and JavaScript has a switch statement which lets you control which code block to execute. So we can rewrite this if-else using a switch statement. Let's get into it. To use a switch statement, you use the keyword switch, and then you pass the variable that you want to test with your case conditions. The condition in the switch statements gets evaluated once, and then based on the value, it tries to find a case that matches the value. And if it doesn't, it goes and uses default case. Each case needs a break because once we execute a certain condition, we want to get out of the switch case. And like I mentioned before, the default case executes when we don't find a specific case for our expression. Now if we just comment this out, and if I go reload the browser, we get exactly the same thing on line 19th, which is our case lunchtime. So just to demonstrate what would happen if we removed the break here from the lunchtime, and here as well, all those other conditions underneath would execute. See, lunchtime, bedtime, I'm not sure what time it is. This is why we need to use a break. Once we find our condition, we break out of the switch. Let me just move this down here. You can also group cases in case you want the same kind of code to be executed for certain conditions. For example, we can add case 9 here for the morning and case 1 here for lunchtime. Well, let's say 13, since we're using military time. So now if we reload, well, actually, let's change the time variable. So let's say time equals to 8. It will execute exactly the same code as case 9 because the condition will evaluate to 8. But since there's no break or any code, it just goes to case 9 after and prints out good morning. Another thing to consider is switch is also sensitive to the type you're passing. So if we changed the 8 to a string 8, this would not work and the default case would execute because there is no case for string 8. So let's reload this. I'm not sure what time it is because I didn't find case string 8, so I went to default case. And that's how you use switch in JavaScript. If you enjoyed the video, leave a comment or subscribe somewhere below.